Question 1. Move the pictures to form a food chain with energy moving from number 1, which is up here, to 5. So the organism with the most energy will be at number 1. The least amount of energy goes at number 5. You're going to drag the pictures over. So this is a plant, a bird, a hawk, a snake, and a grasshopper. You just drag it over to wherever you think it belongs. Number 2, use the image below to answer the following 2 questions. Part A, what major group of organisms is missing from the food web below? Word bank, producers, consumers, decomposers. You're going to type the word that you think it is in the box. Part B, select an organism that can represent this missing group you provided in Part A. And there's a drop down. So humans, bacteria, sea stars, clownfish, or polar bear are your choices. Number 3, review the food chain below. If the sea star population increases, what will happen to the rest of the food chain? Using the arrows indicate whether the population of the other organisms will increase or decrease. You're going to drag the increase button or the decrease to whatever organism you think it's going to increase or decrease. Number 4, examine the food chain below. What will happen if a drought, which is lack of rain, causes the population of grass to decrease? A, the population of owls will not be affected because they are predators who do not eat grass. B, the population of mice will decrease because there will be less food available due to the drought. Or C, the population of grasshoppers will increase because they will find a different, better food source. Number 5, if the secondary consumer population, which is right here, decreases, what will happen to the other trophic levels? Use the arrows to indicate whether the population for each trophic level will decrease or increase. So you're going to look at the tertiary consumer. Are they going to increase or decrease? You're going to drag that arrow over. Then look at the primary consumer trophic level. Again, you're going to drag increase or decrease over to that box. And then looking at the producer's trophic level. Is that going to increase or decrease? And then just drag it over. Number 6, select all of the producers from the list below. Tree, mushroom, cat, snail, carrot, caterpillar, grass. Producers, all of them. 7, select all of the consumers from the list below. Tree, mushroom, cat, snail, carrot, caterpillar, grass. Select all of the decomposers from the list below. Tree, mushroom, cat, snail, carrot, caterpillar, grass, bacteria. If the population of foxes decreased, then what would increase? So first locate the fox over here. What would increase if the foxes decreased? The amount of grass, trout, or rabbits. Number 10. When a producer and consumer are both eaten by an organism, the organism that ate them is known as a A, blank. For example, bears eat berries and fish. What type of organism is the bear if they eat berries and fish? A, omnivore, B, herbivore, C, carnivore, D, none of the above. Number 11. Use the food web below to answer the question. A food chain is one part of a food web. Which list is a part of the food web shown above? A, diatoms, fish, leopard seal, orca. B, diatoms, krill, fish, great white shark, orca. Or C, orca, leopard seal, squid, copepods, diatoms. Look carefully at the way the arrow is pointing before making a selection. Number 12. Starting with the sun, describe the flow of energy through the food chain below. Explain how and where the energy begins and how it flows to each organism. So the sun, and then what's here, and look at the arrows to help you answer this question. This should be more than a few sentences. Look at this open-ended box. Make sure you're typing enough information and answering the question completely. 13. What is the primary source of energy in food chains? A, consumers, B, producers, C, the sun. 14. Look at the diagram below of a food web. The arrows show the direction of energy flow. Each arrow points from the organism that is consumed to the organism that consumes it. Use the information in the food web to answer the question. Which statement best explains why decomposers are an important part of this food web? A, they use sunlight to make their own food. B, they give off oxygen for animals to breathe. C, they provide camouflage for small animals. Or D, they make nutrients available to plants. 15. Which organisms in the food chain are predators? A, maize, B, locust, C, lizard, D, snake. Label each organism in the food web with its role. So you're going to drag and drop next to the organism that these labels connect to. So your choices are producer, decomposer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, or scavenger. And look at your choices carefully in this diagram here. 17. The first organism in a food chain is always A, consumer, B, producer, C, predator. 18. Which type of organism breaks down waste and dead material, returns nutrients to the soil for plants to use? A, consumer, B, producer, C, decomposer. 19. In a food chain, what does the direction of the arrows show? A, the direction of the arrow shows the direction the energy, food is moving, transferred. B, the arrow points in the opposite direction that the energy, food is moving, transfer. 20. Which organisms are herbivores? There could be more than one. A, cow, B, deer, C, fox, D, eagle, E, grasshopper, F, horse. Selecting all of the organisms that are herbivores. 21. Which statement describes the amount of energy passed to the hawk in the energy pyramid above? A, the hawk has 50% of the energy available to it. B, the hawk has the least amount of energy available to it. C, the hawk has the most energy available to it. Or D, the hawk has no energy available to it. 22. Of the consumers listed, which one is the highest in the food chain? A, decomposers. B, snakes. C, foxes. 23. Look at the Atlantic Ocean food web below. What is an example of one food chain found within the ocean? A, bacteria. C, cucumber, jellyfish, leatherback turtle. B, tuna, great white stingray, manatee. Or C, seagrass, leatherback sea turtles, tiger shark, killer whale. So look carefully at this food web. 24. What are all the abiotic factors in the image below? Abiotic. A, rabbit. B, soil rocks. C, fungi. D, plants. E, weather. F, sunlight. G, hawk. So there's going to be more than one answer to this question. 25. All the African elephants that live together in a particular area is an example of A, a community, B, an ecosystem, C, a population. 26. A group of interacting populations such as elephants, deer, zebra, and giraffes that occupy the same area at the same time is known as A, a really cool group, B, an ecosystem, or C, a community. 27. The study of how living things interact with each other and their environment is known as A, estimate, B, immigration, C, ecology, D, death rate. 28. Moving into a population is known as A, estimate, B, immigration, C, death rate, D, emigration, moving in. 29. What is the organism that does the killing in a predation interaction? A, limiting factor, B, predator, C, prey. Number 30. The process by which plants, producers or autotrophs, use sunlight to produce food glucose is called A, respiration, B, photosynthesis, C, immigration.